Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? My name's Baron McLucky, and I am frustrated. I wanted to record some Civ this weekend, because it's been a while since I got any videos out, but I wasn't feeling too hot. So I spent all of yesterday in bed, either sleeping or on my computer, and I wanted to record some Civ, like I said, but since I was sick, I didn't think the video quality was going to be all that great, and I just didn't do it. I thought it was going to be too much. It would take too much out of me. So, I mentioned actually, it's not up yet, the Fez video that I'm going to put up after this video, that I'm probably going to start a new series soon of a game that I've played before, and I was going to start recording it yesterday. It was going to be To the Moon, which is an absolutely fantastic indie game, came out in 2011, and I wanted to play that, but my recording software, Fraps, didn't recognize the game because it was made with a different interface than what Fraps uses. So I had this awkward setup where I had to record the desktop, and I had to play To the Moon in windowed mode, and I had to record my audio separately because there's no volume settings for that game, and you wouldn't be able to hear me talking. And just all the stuff running at once and in windowed mode with the desktop, my frame rate for the recording that I was getting was just terrible, and it looked bad, and I couldn't do it. So that's why I'm frustrated. I wanted to record To the Moon. I'm not going to be able to. At least not at this time. Which is okay. That means I have some other games that I was going to do for that series. But I really wanted to do To the Moon. It's pretty short. It's a really great game. I highly recommend it to anyone who likes really good stories. Right, so I'm still sick a little bit, but it has been quite a while. Well, I don't know, 4 or 5 days since I got my last Civ video up. So, I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So, if you've been following my videos from the beginning, you'll notice up here I have not explained what this is yet. And this is progress towards your next golden age. And this progress bar goes up by how much happiness you have every turn. So I'm getting 4 per turn from this happiness. And when you get to a golden age, you get a massive boost to all, like, pretty much everything in your empire for generally 10 turns. You can extend your golden ages by that, by getting some wonders and stuff. So you get more gold, you get more culture, you get more production. Yeah. And that's really helpful. So it's going to be a while until our next golden age. But this is also going to be changing, so whatever. And then I just kind of glossed over great people. Great generals, you get through combat. Let's see, great person list. So you can get great admirals and great generals through combat. You get points depending on how many units you kill and stuff. This for like land-based units, this for navies. And every time you get one, you see this progress bar, 0 out of 200. Every time you get one, the progress bar increases. So you can only really practically have a maximum amount of great people. Now there are other types of great people, but we're not working on any of those at the moment, and they'll show up over here. They're on a different bar system than the admirals and generals are. You can get great people. Okay, so these are all the types of great people you can get. The Khan and the Merchant of Venice are unique to Venice and who is this? The Mongols? Yes. Right, so admirals and generals we talked about, they both give combat bonuses to units near them. Admirals can also heal navy units. Artists, musicians, and writers were added in Brave New World, and they're also on a separate progress bar than all the rest of the great people are. They are on the same ones as each other, but not as like the engineers, the merchants, and the scientists. Prophets also have their own progress bar, which we'll talk to later when we get into religion. So what writers and musicians and artists can do is create a great work of art, which we use to build up our tourism. And you can put it in these slots, and it helps you with your culture and your tourism. Engineers help you, they give you more hammers. You can either settle them somewhere, like I could put an engineer on this tile and he would build a manufactory and give me a lot more hammers per turn, or I can use him once just to rush build a building, which is usually helpful for rush building wonders. Merchants are okay. I don't really like them. You can send them to a city-state and perform a trade mission, and it gives you a lot of influence over a city-state. Generally, it'll make you allies or friends with them, and it'll also give you a hefty sum of gold, which is nice. Scientists you can use to research a technology or to settle somewhere, and they'll build an academy, which gives you more science per turn. You can also settle a merchant, and they'll build, like, I don't remember what they build because I don't use them, custom house, which gives you lots of gold. Prophets you can use to enhance or found a religion, and you get that through faith. It's not through your great person points. And once we start generating great person points, I'll talk more about that. Every great person is named after a real-life person. Pompey, of course, being the great Roman general who was one of the first three of the first Roman triumvirate, along with Caesar, Julius Caesar, and Crassus. And while Crassus was off fighting and losing some wars in the east, I believe, and while Julius Caesar was dicking around in Celtica fighting the Gauls, Pompey was elected consul or something of Rome, and so he was pretty much the ruler of Rome. And then Caesar came back, and Pompey was like, hey, no, I'm in charge now, and I have an army, and I can fend you off. And then Caesar was like, okay, and just like walked into Rome, and Pompey and his army ran off. Caesar chased him all the way down to, I think, Egypt, where Pompey was assassinated, and Caesar was a little bit sad by that. Pompey could have definitely won. He could have beaten Caesar, but he didn't press his advantage, which Caesar recognized when he was writing and talking about Pompey later. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know a whole lot of stuff about most of the great people, but I do know that stuff about Pompey, so that's cool. Alright, so now on to the actual video stuff. What are we going to do? It's about time that I start looking for a worker. I don't want to make a worker because I have too many other things that I want to produce, such as this settler. So I am really going to steal a worker from a city-state as soon as someone actually makes a worker. And I'm going to take a hit to my diplomacy if I do that, because Elizabeth is not going to like that. That I'm just declaring war on a city-state and taking their stuff. And the thing is, other civs won't like that either, but I haven't met any other civs. So I'm pretty sure if I do this, I'm not going to take a diplomatic hit with them unless I discover them before I do it. So if I do it soon, the only one that I will be taking a hit with is Elizabeth. And right now, she's okay with me, because our civs are pretty far apart. But once I plop a city down here, she's not going to like that. She's not going to like it, especially if I declare war on Bucharest. But she'll think I'm a warmonger if I declare war on any of the other city-states as well. So I'm going to wrap this guy up around here, maybe send him up here to Ragusa and see if they have a worker. Because I don't really want to meet other civs until I have this worker, so that not everyone thinks that I'm just a massive warmonger quite yet. Because I don't want everyone in the world to hate me yet. Okay, so let's get started next turn. Alright. I am going to do just a little bit more exploring with this guy, but... Are you kidding me? This is amazing. Hopefully there's not another scout out here. At this point, I would not have thought that I would find any more ruins on, like, the mainland. Sometimes they're, like, crappy little islands off the coast that we can't really get to. Actually, no, that's fish. Yeah, that we can't get to because we don't have the ability to, embark units on the ocean yet. And so normally that's where you'll find ancient ruins and stuff. But not on the mainland. Okay, I am gonna go up here and explore, see who this is, and if they have a worker, steal it. Okay, next turn. And in 2 turns, I'm gonna switch production to a settler. Wow, we're gonna get this ruin. What is it? A map. Antwerp. Still, no other civs. Nothing. Actually, I'm gonna pop in here, see if they might have a worker. Alright, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna ignore these barbarians for right now, just walk on past. Okay, Burundi has grown. That means I'm going to change production to a settler. I'm going to switch... Yeah. Switch that over. Did that do anything? No. Yeah, it's gonna be the same either way. I'll just have him work that then. Because once the settler's out, I'm not going to want to work this tile. Okay, so now we're making gold per turn because we got that 4th citizen, and now I can afford to work this tile because I'm not going to be growing right now anyway. So this food is all useless. I don't remember if in Civ 5 the food gets turned into production. I think in Civ 4 it does. Not really sure in this case, but whatever. Okay. Hello, Antwerp. The first one they met. So, it's possible that this is like a little land bridge to another continent, or to another, like, big landmass like this one. And then, like, all the other civs are out here somewhere. And not out here. Or there might be one, like, on the very end of this continent. This is just very strange that there's no one here. Let's go in here. They might have a worker up there. I don't know. Okay. And this barbarian's not really going to be a threat to us. Generally, if they're in the camps, they don't attack anyway, because they don't like to leave the camp unguarded. Oh no, not another. Oh well, at least it's not Elizabeth that got this one.
He who...
Oh shoot. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to X out of that. This is a pretty decent Pantheon belief. Because it would increase how much damage the city does. Which we don't want them to have. We don't want anyone to have, but especially not Elizabeth, since we're going to be going in there with relatively weaker units. Yeah, trespassing. Is there... No, there's no worker. Oh, well, actually there might be one here. Yeah, Barbarian didn't bother attacking us. I think the pop-up said, "He who destroys a good book destroys reason itself," or something. I don't remember who said that. And I don't know if I can look it up in here. Where is... Is there one for technologies? Yes. Writing. Yeah, John Milton. Okay. So let's take a look at what writing lets us do. So you can build a library, which is useful for bigger cities. It gives you +1 science for every 2 citizens you have. We have 4, so we would get 2 more science per turn, which is pretty significant at this point. That would take us up to 9, so that would be 22% of our then beakers per turn. But that's not our highest priority right now, because there are lots of ways to get science later in the game. Trade routes can give you science if, well, I'm going to be behind the other civs in technology likely. So if I start trading with them, they'll give me science per turn for every technology they've discovered that I haven't. Also, some religions can give you science, and later, once the World Congress is founded, we could hope to pass a resolution that gives us a boost to researching any technology that any other civ has already researched. So that's cool. Next turn.
Would you be interested in a trade agreement with England?
You know what? Yeah, sure. It helps our diplomacy right now. See, now she has an embassy in our capital, which is a minor diplomatic relations boost. No worker. For now. It also lets her see where my capital is if she hasn't discovered it, and it lets me see more terrain around her capital. Now that she knows where I am, she might start to get a little territorial and want to come take this, but that's a risk that I'm willing to take. Cahokia. I think that was a Native American city. I could totally be wrong, but I think it was. Alright, next turn. Okay, so this archer I'm going to bring over here to prevent Elizabeth from settling over here. Oh, this is a little annoying. The Bucharest is expanding this way. I mean, this tile isn't going to be very useful to us, but if they're expanding toward this gold, I'm going to want to settle here fast and maybe buy up some of these tiles. No workers. Oh, man. It is a little bit early for the city-states to be putting out workers, but they should be coming out soon. And I'm going to want that. No. Okay, it's looking more and more unlikely that we're going to get a Pantheon. Which would mean that those 6 turns or whatever it took us to build this shrine are going to be just a complete waste. I should have probably known better. That's a hill. I think I'll snipe these barbarians from over here and then move in here, because I don't really want my archer to get too close to them. I might actually sit on top of this hill and shoot them. Well, no, I can start shooting them next turn if I move here, so I'll just do that. Ragusa wants a new natural wonder. Oh. Okay. Please attack my city. There's no way that barbarians are going to be able to take my city. It's too well established. I have pretty good defenses. There's just nothing they can do. Okay, so I'm going to start shooting this guy. So you'll notice he's 2 turns away, but he can fire and they can't retaliate, which is the cool thing about ranged units. Now, barbarian encampments spawn barbarian units every, I don't know, 5 or 6 turns, maybe 7 or 8. And this has been here for a while, so it's pretty likely that while we're bombarding this guy, there's going to be a unit that spawns in any of these adjacent tiles. And if he spawns over here, these guys are in a little bit of trouble. I'll just move them back here and heal up, because units heal faster in your borders. Next turn.
Thou shalt not
Animal
muzzle the
husbandry,
ox
great.
when he treadeth out the corn.
So, it lets you build caravans, which give you trade routes. You can get gold, or you can deliver food or hammers to your own cities. It reveals horses. It lets you build pastures, which we need for these sheep. And it gives you your very first trade route. Now, do we have horses? No. There are horses over here. I think this would be a good spot for a third city, because we've got these dyes, we've got these horses. I don't think Ragusa's going to expand to take these cows. They might, but that would be a waste. It's got fish, it's got sheep. Are there horses? There are horses right here. That's okay. I mean, I'd rather the horses be like here, because we're going to be settling here. But it'll still give us the horses. We just won't get the production boost from having a pasture. Okay. How many turns? 4 turns. 4 turns for the settler. Our warrior will be back, 1, 2, 3, will be here in 4 turns. So actually, we can just bring our warrior back here, have our settler come down through here, and settle down here in maybe 10 turns. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 turns. Turn 46, it's not terrible. It's a bit of a slower start than I would have liked. I think I underestimated how food-starved this area is going to be, I think. Because we've really only got a couple of good tiles that give us some decent food. At least for right now. Once we start improving them, well, once we start improving these with farms, that'll help. And these sheep will give us more food. I really don't want to waste time building a worker, but I might have to. If, like, Bucharest doesn't put one out soon. Okay, so we got a promotion here. You can edit unit names. That's kind of fun. That's what this edit button is. I'm not going to. He's in a hill. I think I'm gonna go with barrage here, which gives us a rough terrain bonus. No. And you just come down here. I may have done the math wrong. I may be able to put this down in 9 turns now, not 10. Alright, so kill this guy, get that culture. I think that gives us 8. A lot of like brutes, some of the early melee units will give you 8. The early ranged units, like archers, will give you 4 culture, and the even later barbarian units that might come out, like pikemen, I think they give you 16 culture. That's unfortunate, but he's not going to be able to escape, because even if he comes to out this way, like down here, our archer's just going to kill him. So we're going to get that culture too. Yeah. And I'm just going to leave this here for now so it can spawn some more barbarians so we could get some more experience and culture. And I'm going to kill off this guy. Get that culture. Dat culture. Okay, so this is our second city-state quest. I didn't really talk about the first one. So Bucharest wants gold. They're trying to do something with gold, and if we give them gold, we'll get a lot more influence than we normally would. Normally, so you can bribe them, and I think like 250 gold will normally give us like 25 or 30 influence this early in the game. Let's see. 20, so I was wrong there. But Bucharest is going to give us 15 more influence right now. So that's cool. I'm not going to bribe him because I don't need to. I don't really need the culture that he's going to give us. And he probably doesn't, well, if he doesn't have a worker, he doesn't have these furs. He doesn't have access to the furs right now because they're not improved. I'd actually much rather have Ragusa because we're kind of a little bit food starved, like I said. Okay. Let's pop over here, see if he might have a worker now. He has an archer. Settler. And where does it tell us to settle? Right here. I'm not going to settle there because we won't get the gold. Normally I don't listen to what the AI says is the best city placement, because they're usually not right. Although this isn't bad because it'll eventually pick up the wine. It'll have a lot of food resources. It'll have a bunch of cows. It'll have bananas and wheat. But it's pretty far for the luxury resource, and that's all it's going to get. Well, this one is going to have crabs and gold. And you generally, your first couple expansions, especially if you're playing a warmongering civ, you're going to want to settle on places that have one or more luxury resources that you don't already have. I think I mentioned before that I have one source of gems here, and there's one down here, but because I'm already going to have one, the second source down here is not going to give us any more happiness. You only get 4 happiness for, well, you only get the one time 4 happiness for having a luxury resource. So I'm not going to get 8 happiness for having 2 sets of pearls here. I'm only going to have 4. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 turns, I'll have a city. Now, what are we going to do here? Let's actually see, well, the only one we can see is Elizabeth. And Elizabeth went tradition. That's, not really what I expected her to go. Well, no, that is. London's going to be a pretty nice city. I don't think I ever talked about spearmen either. Spearmen have a bonus against mounted units, and they're decently stronger than the warrior as well. I don't think they're going to have a worker out here. Wait. No, they do. They do have a worker. So I'm not going to bother building this. Okay, see, they have an improved farm here. That can only be done by a worker. So they have some worker somewhere, which I'm just going to come and steal, unless, like, this archer's going to be a pain in the butt. So, I'm going to finish building my Akonda. Let's see if we can see it. It might be up here, trying to improve the sheep. Oh, okay, new policy. This is going to be useful, but I don't know how useful it's going to be right now. Although, it might be one of the last social policies we get before we go to war with Elizabeth. Both of these are going to be good to have for that, to be honest. But I'm going to go with military tradition to give us the extra experience, because we're already going to have a bonus to getting promotions just because of our unique ability. So the faster I can get those, the better. They might be improving the furs. Well, they have to be. They have a worker, but I don't see it. And the worker's not going to go outside the borders. Oops. Oh! Oh, cool. We can get a Pantheon. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I'd pretty much given up all hope on founding a Pantheon. Okay. Yeah, sorry, dude. Under the protection of England, England's not going to be happy with us. But I'm stealing this worker. No, no, no. Oh, shoot. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to steal it, not shoot it. That's my fault. I should have declared war and then moved on top of that. I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's gonna die, and he could get some more XP out of this. As long as he doesn't die. If he dies, I'm gonna actually reload up to turn 40. Because that was totally a misclick. I don't reload if I like make some sort of tactical error and totally screw everything up because it's really cheaty. But I did not mean to attack the worker. I meant to come and steal it. That was just a misclick. Okay, so let's... Before we start worrying about that, let's see what we can do with this religion nonsense. So, these are all of the beliefs that you can pick. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of good ones, and then a lot of really crappy ones that we don't want, ever. Like, we're not going to have any jungle tiles, so we don't need this. We're not going to have, besides this, we're not going to have any gold or silver. We're not going to have very many quarries. We'll have, like, 2. Gems or pearls? We actually are going to have quite a bit of that. But I don't care about this +2 faith for that. What I want is happiness. But this is going to be our only city on a river for now. So I'm not sure Sacred Waters is the way to go. And likewise, Goddess of Love is not going to be useful for us because... I mean, we don't have a city of population 6 or higher. So... I don't think we're going to get any happiness quite yet. Now, I said before, we are going to have a lot of fishing boats. We're going to have 2 here, and we're going to have 3 here. And we could get +1 production from fishing boats. Alternatively, we could get... No, that's not as good. Because this would mean +3 production, and we would have +2 production in here from the fishing boats. We could get more food. I generally don't like to get the food ones, but we are going to need food, but only in the capital. We're not going to have any food issues down here, I don't think, because there's just so many food resources. God of War is okay, but we're generally going to be fighting offensive battles, not defensive. So we're not going to be fighting within 4 tiles of our cities, usually. Messenger of the Gods is a really good pantheon belief. I could go for that, maybe. But I'm not sure. Since we're going to be conquering a lot of other lands, we might not be able to make the city connections right away. The city connections are like roads. If you build a road from Ulundi to whatever the city is going to be, that's a city connection. Also, you can have connections over water if you build harbors in your cities. We're not going to worry about wonders. Border growth, don't really care. You know, we don't have a whole lot of faith production. That might be useful. But we're not going to do a whole lot with our faith. I mean, we're going to go and get our religion, and then that's it. I might just go with the production from fishing boats. That seems like it's going to be the best for us. Because we're going to want production to make military units. And that's the best production pantheon belief. At least for us. This is useful, but we're going to get more production out of this. Well, it's not actually all that useful even. It's just 1 production. This is going to give us more. God of the Sea. Which is probably not really historically accurate for the Zulus, but who cares? This game is not about historical accuracy. Okay, I probably should have paid more attention to this earlier. We want default focus. Sort of. Yeah, I do want this Akanda as fast as possible. So that's why I switched from here to here. But I'd rather have the city grow than work this tile, even if we're going to lose some gold, because the next citizen we put out could work this tile. Okay, let's click next turn and see if this archer dies. Yeah, she's not happy. They think we're warmonger, and we attacked Bucharest under their protection. Now, if we say our apologies, we will withdraw, then she might overlook that we attacked Bucharest. Like, it won't be... You see how you have attacked city-states under their protection is in a bold and bright red. That means it's a major diplomatic penalty. If I select this, she might forgive us a little bit, and that will go down to the darker red color, which is a minor diplomatic penalty. But we're not going to withdraw immediately. We're just going to be lying to her. It's really none of your business. Yeah, they asked us to stop attacking, and we ignored them. So she's going to hate us. Let's see if this guy dies. Okay. Just barely survived. Okay, warrior, come down here. Settler, come down here. So if I had just brought a settler down here by himself, these barbarians would almost certainly come out of the camp to just steal him and run away with him. At that point, he turns into a worker, and I'd have to go kill them to get him back. Okay, let's move here, steal the worker, and then make peace. Yeah. So now we have their worker, and they're not going to kill our archer. However, they are going to be angry at us for quite a while for like 60 turns, and Elizabeth is going to hate us. It says neutral, but no, she's going to hate us. I don't know how we jumped up here. And I don't know when that happened either. But, I mean, we're all so close right now, it doesn't really matter what score position we're at. And even then, I know that I'm better at this game than the AI. So, even if we were last, we'd be fine. See, here we go. Ragusa.
He who commands the sea has command of everything.
Cool. We'll talk about sailing in a little bit. Ragusa's finally started yelling at us to come take out these barbarians. Right, warrior, you go there. Settler, yeah, you just follow him. So this archer can go through here. Oh, I hope Bucharest doesn't declare war on us now. I don't like, if they get angry enough, they can declare war on you. And they're very angry at us right now. But I don't think they're going to. So yeah, that's that. Bucharest wants us to demand tribute from Ragusa. But we're not going to do that, and we're trespassing. Okay, what do we want next? I do want to go up to construction and mathematics, because we can get catapults and composite bowmen. Composite bowmen are really good. But I also do want circuses. Well, my happiness is okay for now. Although I'm going to found a city in a couple of turns, and it will not be okay. But we do have a lot of luxury resources that we have not improved yet. So I'm going to go... the wheel, construction, mathematics. Okay, let's take a look at sailing. Sailing, it gives you a workboat, which is like a worker unit that you need to improve sea resources, like these pearls and these fish and these crabs down here. So that's useful. We're probably going to build some workboats soon. It lets you build a trireme, which is a melee naval unit, which is kind of a weird concept, but it's kind of like the warriors, except it's in water. So like it does your standard melee attack where it attacks any adjacent unit and they attack back. It gives us the ability to build cargo ships, which are caravans on the water. They actually give you double the gold that caravans give you, I believe. It lets you build fishing boats on sea resources and gives you another trade route. So now we have two. We're not using either of them, but we could conceivably do so. Let's get this guy out of here, and this worker as well. Okay, so what's this nonsense about Ilundi wanting marble? They will always ask for a resource, and if you connect it to your trade network, either if you improve it in your territory or you get a city-state ally that has marble, it will get a bonus to food production for 10 turns. So that's kind of neat. Bucharest is whining at us, and they now want us to get rid of this barbarian encampment, which we are not going to do. So, a lot of people don't like this kind of tactic that I use to steal a worker, because they think that it's cheating, and I can see that. Why people would think that it's, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. I'm not even going to try. So this is second city. That's what we're gonna call it. Right. So it is kind of exploiting the AI a bit, but I don't really care. I don't think it is. At least not to the degree that, like, you shouldn't do it, because, I mean, the AIs can do it as well. They just tend not to. But even then, some of the more warmongering civs will come in, attack city-states, and steal their stuff. Right, I'm going to put out a workboat so I can start getting more citizens in here faster. We're unhappy, we're losing a lot of gold. That's going to very quickly turn around now that we have this worker, though. Because the first thing I'm going to do is come up here and improve these gems. Although, now that we are unhappy, we might as well work the gems. Because, well, I'll talk about that in a second. When you're unhappy, your cities grow a lot slower. 75% slower. Oh, and now you get golden production penalties and combat penalties. So we want to get happy as soon as possible. Antwerp wants us to demand tribute from Ragusa. Not going to. Okay. A workboat, definitely, because we want these pearls ASAP. Yeah, I think it's going to be a 1 food, 2 gold, or 4 gold tile, which is okay. And then plus 1 production for having fishing boats from our religion. If Bucharest does take this tile with their culture, I'm definitely going to buy this tile and the gold. I don't think we have any culture. No. After this, we need to get a monument going so we can get our culture borders to pop. And actually, yeah. I did that because I got some experience out of that. I got 7 experience just for attacking that barbarian brute. And I knew he would be stationed in the city afterward. Even if I was attacking over a river, I was going to be okay. Okay, this is not the safest tactic. I guess I'm just going to take this archer, even though he's, like, really wounded and pretty much any barbarian unit could kill him. Well, this guy can't even get to him right now. Okay, next turn. Oops. Let's just keep moving. And actually, you can kill off that guy. Get the culture. Oh, no. What? Well, here we go. We're going to kill him now. Even though that does put us at risk. No. He can't actually get to us. If he crossed the river, he would have to end his turn here. That's true of any unit crossing a river. I don't remember if I talked about this in the last video. If any unit except for a scout, or any unit with this ignore terrain cost promotion, if any other unit crosses a river, they have to end their turn immediately. The ignores terrain cost promotion lets you keep moving even after, like, if you started here, you could still move up here. Yeah. Okay, Elizabeth probably has a second city right now, because she's jumped up here from the bottom. And we got another promotion. 24 of 23. Okay, so I don't actually know how this is going to work. Normally you can only get up to level 2 from barbarians, which is 30 experience. So we're at level 2 right now, but we're at 24 experience because of our unique ability. I don't know if it's going to let us go all the way up to the 30 experience and then cap us off there from barbarian fighting, or if it's going to stop us here. Let's find out. Next turn. I think this episode's going to be running a little long. I might cut it into 2. I don't know. We'll see. I could record for an hour or longer than an hour and cut it up into 2 episodes. Yeah, just fortify. Okay, that's nice to know. An unmet player entered the classical era. I don't remember if that's the first one or not. So they have some pretty good science, and they either beelined one of these technologies. Beelining is just going straight for the technology without worrying about picking up these other things, like maybe they beelined optics and didn't pick up anything else. That's very unlikely because optics is not a high priority. Or they have a lot of science production. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, so the reason why I went the wheel, by the way, is to pick up these water mills, because water mills give you food and production, although I'm only going to be able to build it here. But they also give you access to mathematics, which gives us a catapult, which we will want. At least 1 or 2. Although catapults, the siege weapons I find are not generally as useful as the archers, because they have to move and then set up before they fire, whereas the archers, you already saw, they can move and fire in the same turn. The setup takes an extra turn, which is kind of annoying, and in the time it takes them to set up, a lot of times they'll just get shot and killed. Oh, this is a little bit concerning, although it's expected because we only have 2 military units. But that's going to change very shortly, because now we're going to have a decent economy going. Okay, we get a food and a production. I'm gonna have this tile now, which is really nice. I thought this... okay. So let's... yes, I do want to work this tile. Definitely. Hello? Hello? Okay. I want this tile. I want this tile. I think my mouse might be dying. I'm using a wireless mouse, and I think the batteries are dying. And I don't know. I might want him to work that tile. I'm just going to let him do his thing for now. And let's... okay, now let's start working on our military. I'm not going to build any warriors, because spearmen are going to upgrade into the impies. They're stronger. They take just slightly longer to build, but these are going to be good units. However, for now, I'm going to... yeah, I'm going to work on an archer, just in case Elizabeth gets... see, they're very angry at us. They lost one of their diplomatic boosts, the minor diplomatic boosts from our borders not being contested. They're going to want our lands soon. Yeah, actually, it already says they covet lands you currently own. Elizabeth is going to be building up a military, and she's going to march toward Second City and want to take it. So we need to get an army rolling out of Ulundi as fast as possible. I don't want to build military units in here because it's going to take forever, first of all. And secondly, because we don't have an Ikanda here, so they're going to be just total novices at warfare. And with the archer, let's see, what does that do? 15 turns? 10 turns. I think that's a decent compromise, because now we're going to get these out even faster. And we're going to be making some gold soon from getting these gems, if we work these pearls as well. We'll get some gold. We'll build a caravan, we'll send it somewhere else. Probably, maybe Bucharest, because the caravan will go down through here, and it'll be relatively well protected from the mountains and from this city killing off these guys. Alright, so actually I think I am going to cut it here. I don't know if I'm going to keep recording or not. I'm going to see. I'm just going to have to wait and see on that one. So I'm going to save, I'm going to cut the recording, and I will either see you later today or next time. Bye-bye, folks.